Then I went in hard on achievements. I dropped the bunch, got to the top. I felt confident.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Today we've got a very, very special guest, Mr. Charlie, aka Sub 3 Moagi. I think me and Ino look up to this man when it comes to the achievement he's had in his cycling career. And today we're going to be speaking about that achievement in the Cape Town Cycle 2 Sub 3 performance that you had in the 2021 edition. So without further ado, man, let's get right into it. Tell us about yourself a little bit. Tell us how you got into cycling. How long have you been cycling for?
No, man. Hello, everyone. Hello, gents. Good evening. Good afternoon, gents. Thank you, man. It's an honor. I'm honored to be a guest in this podcast. By the way, wonderful job, guys. Thank you very much for things like this. My name is Charles Moagi from Katlehong originally. Getting into cycling I think it was more about health and all of that. So I get to be busy. I've been self-employed for a while now, and I realized that there are times that I get through a lot of stress work-wise, and I don't have time to sort of train and all of that. So I decided to get into cycling. Initially just mountain biking, doing as I can. And I wasn't even that committed. I think my cycling journey started in 2010 now. I'll confirm with my Strava because my very first ride is there on Strava. It's like about 14 kilometers. 14 kilometers. Yeah, I think it was 14 kilometers.
And you were tired, I'm sure, after that.
I was finished after that ride. I was on a mountain bike. Didn't have proper gear. My bum was hurting. After 14 kilometers, only 14 kilometers. If I'm not mistaken, I think between 2015, 16, somewhere there. Okay. And then over time, I sort of decided to join a team. I started training with the team, and then I realized that there's more to cycling than just riding a bike and all of that. I got challenged by my team, the teammates that I was with there, and then I bought a road bike after realizing that the mountain bike has certain limitations. I can't do a mountain bike on the road, and then I bought a road bike. I started training, man. I think I can say I got that bit of a competitiveness in me. So when I realized the guys were sort of dropping me, I got a bike. And when I realized they were still dropping me, I started trying to find out what they're doing. And I started following training schedules and all of that. Then later on, I joined a stronger team where I got a little bit more challenge now.
Which team is this you can mention?
Well, I always envied them because everyone was talking about them. It was ECC. I always envied ECC. So I was training hard, man, looking at them, following them on Strava and all of that. So my training was, I wanted to join that team. And then eventually I did a ride with them, and some of the guys sort of gave me props and said, yeah, no, I'm doing well. I can come and train with them. And then I started training with the team. Nice. And then that's where it sort of, that thing sort of got activated up until where we are now.
Sweet stuff, man. Just a bit more. Tell us about some of the bikes in your garage. Tell us what bike you ride, and we also want to know,
bike, right?
we also want to know the type of rider that you would describe yourself as. Are you a climber? Are you an all-rounder? Tell us about that.
Yeah. My first bike was a Scott. It was an aluminum bike. Bought it as a second hand. It's still there. I rode it for a long time. So, and then I bought a KTM. It was a carbon KTM Revelator 3500. Yeah. It's a carbon bike. It was nice. I loved it. And then I don't know, Eugene, you want to say something?
No.
I don't know what happened. Then I started riding with a whole lot of people. I started seeing much nicer bikes, and then the KTM wasn't so nice anymore. Wasn't meeting all these requirements anymore. But I sort of had this thing that I also want a Di2 bike and a mechanical bike as well. So I went and sort of shopped around for one up until I got like a giant TCR Advanced Pro 1, which is a nice Di2 bike, you know. So I've got 3 bikes. I'm not sure if I'm a climber or what, but I'm more endurance type of rider. I like to push myself over the edge at times, you know. Like I think cycling also confirmed that I'm a lot competitive than I thought.
Why is it bad, man? It's not a bad thing, right?
I think to a certain extent it can be a weak point that I have, because sometimes I fail to sort of measure my capabilities accurately, and I overpush it at times. So
I wouldn't tell at all that you are. You know, I think you're one of the very humble cyclists that I know. You know, cyclists can be very arrogant, very self-assured, and I think one of the things about Charles is that he's very chilled. You know, very humble. He doesn't walk around with it written big on his face that, hey, look at me.
I beg to differ.
Yeah.
I beg to differ. Listen. The first time I saw Charles was at Alvin Wheeler's club ride, right? And I think I was riding C at the time, C at the time. And Charles came to the C group. Then I think he looked around. He's like, no, all of these people are too slow for me. And then he went into, I think, A or something like that. It's just like, no, I'm gonna get bored here and C. So, but I'm kidding.
No, the first ride, I think I rode B the first ride. That ride was the second ride. I went straight to A. I think I was a bit, you know,
bored. Say it.
Yeah. So. Well, people know different sides. We all know different sides of people. I think maybe that day you saw that arrogant me. Maybe that day I felt like, you know.
Okay, man. So let's talk Cape Town now, and specifically, you know, I mean, we're here to talk about that sub 3 that you got.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit more about your preparation for it. You know, what went into preparing for Cape Town.
You know, and the funny thing about that ride is that I was very nervous before the ride, you know, because I was sick that week. That week I was sick. I had flu, and I actually thought I had COVID. But because we had to do the test before the ride,
yes, I remember.
The Friday when I went to the test, it's confirmed that no, I don't have COVID. But I never trained that week. Which is unlike me when I'm nervous. Like I like to over prepare so that, you know, I can cover all angles. But that week I was forced to take a break. So I was a lot nervous. My confidence was not at the highest, but I had trained too much before that ride. You know, there was a lot of training that went in. I don't get to spend a lot of time on the street. So I go to the gym every day after work. So last year was one of those years where I actually wanted to improve my cycling. So I was spending a lot of time at the gym. And the nice thing about Cape Town is that year it came at the end, towards the end of the year.
Yeah, October.
So last year, most of the people were hungry for rides. There was a period where there was like no rides, and we were all doing indoors. And we go to the streets, we meet there, but there's no like race. There was not a lot of races. So most people were hungry for races.
And you were one of them.
I can say so, perhaps. But the thing with Cape Town is that the previous year, I had got a puncture. So the previous year, I wanted to work hard for that sub 3. It was my first Cape Town. But I actually wanted to get a sub 3 on my first Cape cycle tour. not knowing what I was putting myself onto. You understand? But I got a puncture, so there was like a whole lot of disappointment that year. And I remember meeting a guy in the lift at the hotel. I could see he was coming from the trainer. I asked him, how did you perform? He said he got 2 hours something. And I was like, man.
pressure now. It's proper pressure.
So I was like, yo, and then I told him, no, and puncture and all of that. So after that, and I think I had a little bit more understanding of how Cape Town is, because I saw that the hills there are quite tricky. So if you don't really strategize and use your energy wisely, you're just gonna finish yourself. So the preparation was more to push for hills and stay in as long as I can on the hills. So when I was doing the watt bike, I was aiming to push more watts on the watt bike for a longer period. So I was gradually building that on my trainings. So if you can look at my training on Strava, you'll see that mostly last year, Monday, I would go maybe below 200 watts, but Tuesdays were the days where I wanted to push more than 200 watts so that I can try and rest on a Wednesday. And a Thursday, I try and push a little bit more. But Tuesdays, I wanted Tuesdays to be my best days at the gym when I was preparing for that. But the aim was to push more watts. So that was more my preparation.
Yeah, it does sound very. And I mean, I'm sure you do other gym work in terms of strength training in between all of that. Was that part of your training as well?
Yeah, but I must admit I wasn't doing a lot of core. Actually, my wife was pushing me to do core. I must be honest on that.
The six-pack.
Yeah, I think for her it was more like, you're focusing more on your legs. And my legs were becoming bigger, but my upper body becoming smaller. So she pushed for that, and she was encouraging me for that, which helped. So part of the exercises were to do a bit of core, but I wasn't doing a lot. I'm actually realizing now that the importance of doing more core is actually to balance between your core and your leg exercises. The importance of that, because I could tell on certain races that I was struggling because my core was out.
Yeah, speaking of that,
and Charles, sorry, Gene, let me throw in one there before I forget it. Charles, you mentioned that you wanted to nail the sub-3 on the first time and you were disappointed, and then you came back much stronger for it. Yeah. Tell us, how did you know, or how does one know that sub-3 is a possibility here? Or, how do you gauge that, what, I'm ready for sub-3, it's a possibility here?
I think you go there stronger. I think, to be quite honest, to be sure that you get sub-3 something else at Cape Town, because Cape Town is tricky that you get Chapman's Peak and then you get Sekerbosi. So you can get excited at Chapman's Peak and feel stronger at Chapman's Peak, and then by the time you hit Sekerbosi, you are sort of finished. And I realized that last year, see, the year that I got the sub-3, the most recent race, I actually almost didn't get it, because what I did at Chapman's Peak, I felt stronger throughout the race, because I survived university, see there by hospital, university and all of that, where sort of weight gets a bit rough and there's a big competition to sort of split the group. I survived that, and then I felt stronger at Chapman's. Then I went in hard at Chapman's. I dropped the bunch, got to the top. I felt confident. And then I pushed and I found this young guy. There were 3 of us. There was a young guy on top there who sort of was telling me that he did calculations. If we push well, we want to do this. And then he pushed me down that hill. Instead of relaxing now, we're pushing for the time and we're sort of competing amongst ourselves, the 3 of us. And then by the time I get to second bossy, my legs started suffering a lot, actually, a lot.
Did
So
the bunch catch you?
The bunch caught me at second bossy. The bunch caught me at second bossy. I stayed on the bunch, and the bunch was stronger than me at second bossy. The bunch that I dropped at Chapman's was stronger than me at second bossy. And I struggled to stay with it up until I even dropped still at second bossy. So there was a lot of miscalculation at Chapman's in terms of strength. So it's one thing that I also learned, that Cape Town needs a lot of strategy, a lot of being strategic. Know that you need your energy more on the hills, and there's like massive hills there.
Yeah.
They might look like it's not a lot. Some of them look small, and then you get some parts that are windy more towards the end of the race, where you actually feel it's flat, but that side by the beach where you're going towards the stadium can be windy.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And then tell me, how do you rate the the seeding part of it? How important is that in getting that sub 3? Because as we know, I mean, if you start with a very fast bunch, it's kind of a gamble at the same time, in that they can leave you, or they can be too slow and you won't reach your goal. So how important is seeding in getting your sub 3?
Yeah, I think that's where personally you will have to also judge yourself, because obviously our seeding is mostly based on your index and all of that. And the more you perform well, the more you're pushed up. But in most cases, you'll find yourself pushed up to the level of people that ride bike every day. Some don't work. I mean, I look at my seating now for Cape Town. I don't think I'm supposed to be there because I'm not on alphabets anymore. I'm like,
you're special characters.
Special characters. I'm like, no. Something is wrong here. So I'm definitely want to go A, and push from there, because I think, especially in Cape Town, the faster guys, there's more competition there. And if you are not like a pro cyclist or a person that cycles for a living, you can get mixed up in a very heavy commitment there, and find yourself in trouble. Because someone like me, I can fight and stay as long as I can with the group, but when I bonk, even the slowest rider will probably just finish me off. So seeding, although it's encouraging and it shows what you are capable of, but in certain, like what you guys did at this camp, in certain races, be smart. And I was happy to hear that you actually said and analyzed the bunch you want to start with. And it helped a lot in terms of how you were performing, confidence levels, and everything. And it actually exceeded expectations. And sometimes it's hard to know if A is going to be faster than B, or B is going to be faster than, because sometimes people drop their seeding intentionally. You get stronger guys moving from faster seedings to slower seedings, and things can be chaotic.
So you can never be sure what's going to happen.
Never be sure.
So Charles, would you say, you would definitely say Cape Town is all about, basically sticking with the bunch and not getting excited and being some sort of a reserved rider, at least up until the bottom of Secret Bossy?
Yeah, I'll definitely say that. I think you are much safer with the bunch, especially when you are with the bunch that feels like they made their calculations right. Because the bunch that I was with last year definitely had made the right calculations. And they didn't get too excited at Chapman's, and they managed to finish Secret Bossy stronger.
And you didn't know this, right? You just found yourself with them. You didn't know that is this the bunch that has the calculations?
I didn't. And I was in A, and there was a split actually. I was with the second, I think the second bunch of A, because there was a split. A actually split there, and then there's guys that went on ahead. There's guys that finished it, I think 244 or 248.
Yeah.
That I think that was the first split, and then we got with that second split, and that second split Charles, was actually the right one for me.
On that split, actually, was it a natural selection, or did you decide that split, I'm not gonna go into it, I'd rather stay here? Tell us about that decisioning to not go with the split, or was it natural, or how it happened that you found yourself in the second bunch of A?
I actually stayed, but it was not like a natural decision that I made. When we started the race, there was 3 of us. It was myself, Tsepiso London, and Bongani Ushad. And because I was not feeling that confident, because I was sick and all of that during the week, I sort of felt like I needed to have the guys that I know. And those 2 guys, I've ridden with them SCC rides, longer rides. I know their capabilities, and I felt like with them, I'm gonna be much safer. So when the split happened, and I saw them behind, I stayed. So I stayed. I wanted to be with them, and then we all saw the bunch go, but we also saw the second bunch form. And then we stayed with that second bunch. We went. That's what happened. So I think it was the right move, to be quite honest, because those guys were a lot faster and a lot stronger, and they probably did Chapman's pick way stronger. I was probably going to be dropped there.
So it was a good gamble. It turned out in your favor.
It was a good gamble.
And tell us about the feeling of rolling into Seapoint now. You're seeing your watch saying, I don't know, 2:55 or something. You're like, damn, I've reached my goal. Tell us about that feeling. I'm sure you wanted to to pick up the bike.
It was nice. It was nice, but it was also because, you see, my time was 2 hours 58. At that rate, you're still not 100% sure that you're going to hit it or not. So when I was struggling after Sekerbosi, going down before the curve that takes you to the beach, there's a left curve that takes you down to the beach. I was struggling and I was left alone. So there's a small bunch that was coming behind me. It came stronger. But there's a guy that read my name. I think they saw my name behind on the thing. And they said, Charles, I don't know that guy. He said, Charles, come on, we're almost there. I went for that guy's wheel. I stayed on that guy's wheel. I finished, you saw the bunch that I finished with there.
Yes, I think you had the picture there.
The guy that was wearing white stuff, I think he's a colored guy, a white kid. I stayed on that guy's wheel. And then as we were going on that beach, on that street that goes by the beach straight to the stadium, then I was feeling excited, but I was hurting. It was hurting so bad that I don't know how many times I took a sip of water, but I wasn't thirsty. I actually thought it was going to help me ease up some cramps because I was starting to feel a lot of things in my body. But the excitement that the finish line is almost here just pushed me. Just pushed me. I went, and then I think the heart got a lot stronger than the body at that point. Then the rest was history.
Yeah, well done, man. Well done.
Yeah, well done.
Really a sub-3 Cape Town is very difficult. Well done on that. And what would you say to guys like us who aspire to nail that? I know for some of the people it might be too late. I mean, the Cape Town is around the corner, but what advice would you give some cyclists that haven't hit sub-3 and would love to hit sub-3 in Cape Town one day.
Sure. But now almost elite is like strong, guys.
Like,
no,
too much pressure.
No,
no,
man.
but I think looking at the way guys are training now, at where the guys are in terms of cycling, psychology of cycling. I think also probably the nutrition intake and all of that. I think there's a lot that we are getting to understand as far as cycling is concerned. And I'm seeing that there's a lot of guys that actually stands a good chance of doing the 258s, the sub-3. It's almost certain. It's just that things change a lot in the day, and the body sometimes doesn't do what you think it will do or what it normally does. Mm-hmm. So resting before Cape Town, do all you can a week before. That week, the last week, I think do as little as you can. Because remember, I didn't cycle at all that week. I didn't touch a bike. I didn't, you understand? So my body was well rested, but the fitness was there. Yeah. But the body was well rested. So as you fight for it, I think resting is key. Maybe if you feel you are nervous, do until Tuesday and find something else to do. As long as you have pushed as hard as you can and you know your FTPs, you do the FTP test, you did all those Strava exercises and all of that, and you know that you can survive maximum power for how long. If you don't know that 3 days before, that's not the time to start learning that.
Yeah,
I think
microwave sub-3.
No,
microwave
find other things to do for that sub-3. You'll probably get it, but don't try new things closer to that. Stick to what you know and hope it will work for you. But sticking with the bunch, definitely for guys like us, who are not career cyclists, sticking with the bunch helps a lot.
Mm-hmm. No, that's really great advice, man, and thank you for your time here. I'm sure there's a lot of people who will benefit from your wise words. Yeah, just in closing, man. I mean, tell us about your company just for a bit. Outside of cycling for a second, tell us about Moagi Consulting.
Thank you very much. Wow. Well, Moagi Consulting is an accounting practice. I'm a professional accountant, SA SIPA member. Been practicing for 7 years. So Moagi Consulting has been in existence for about 8 years now, but I've been working full-time for it for 7 years. So I resigned a year after I started it. What we do is accounting services, your bookkeeping, financial accounting, compilation of financial statements, financial management, consulting services, then normal secretarial. Also, then we into tax, VAT, income tax, and then your business consultation, like helping some clients with simple agreements, service level agreements. In the SME sector, there's a whole gap for people who are running businesses, but the companies don't have all departments to actually make sure that everything is compliant. So we cover that gap. But my specialty is in financial accounting. And then secondary is tax.
Okay.
Oh, sweet, man. Great to know that there's more to Charles than the man on the bike. Where can people find out more about your company? Do you have a Facebook page? Do you have a website? Yeah. How do people get in touch?
Facebook, it's Moagi Consulting. Website, www.moagiconsulting.co.za. The Twitter page is not so busy, though. Twitter page. But for more information in terms of what we do and all of that, you can find information there. Otherwise, you contact us, 011-909-2559, or a WhatsApp number, 081-325-8925, and email info@moagiconsulting.co.za. And then, we take it from there. We move. We do all we can. We try to build a professional, competitive accounting practice.
No, that's very interesting, man. Thanks again for your time. I think we'll close off and we'll catch you guys in the next episode. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Keep moving, guys. You are motivating me to work harder, eh? You've been making it tough for me now, eh? Hey, you know. Thank you, Eugene. Thank you, guys. Sharp, sharp.